Hello. Self-alignment here. So, I'm a Gemini and I don't talk about myself a lot. And it's been said that I need to open up more. Okay. No. I'll tell you what I want you to know. Like if I want to tell something to somebody, I'll tell them. If I don't, I'm not going to. Okay? All right, so Um, I've been studying astrology, numerology, and tarot for a long time. My first go around with reading tarot, I was 4 years old, and I did it with a deck of playing cards. Now, I did not know that tarot cards existed, obviously, because I was four. Okay, so then it freaked me out, so I decided that I was going to read the Bible. And so I didn't get in a hurry. I was a little quick, but it took me 3 months to read the Bible from front to back and know it. So now when I talk about it, I remember it's like, wow, I'm reliving memories. um, because when I was born, like I used to think that I was adopted. That my mom and my dad were given me because God was too busy having to take care of all the rest of his children that he couldn't just soulfully sit and spend, you know, time with just one kid all the time. That's what I was thinking. I'm four. But that was my dad. So I felt out of place. Like, I thought God didn't want me anymore. And then I realized after I learned the Bible that that was not true, or I wouldn't be here. Okay, so with that being said, a lot of people in life, when they get with people, most people don't study compatibilities, chemistry, numbers, weight, height, personalities, things like that. Most people are about convenience. Unfortunately, I've been there, done that. So no picking, no poking. Truth is what it is. Nobody's perfect, especially me. And I don't want to be. That's no kind of life to live. I admire those who think I am, but I'm not. But anyway, I'm human. uh, so, with that being said, even I, through my dating years, I always knew, when somebody was good or not. But I can tell you that I always went off of what my body wanted me to do, what the world wanted me to do, not what God wanted me to do. Like I knew I was not doing right, like I knew I should have waited till I got married to be with anyone. I know that. So I totally defied God to do what I wanted to do. And the reason that he, doesn't just jump in and beat your ass is because he gave you free will. So, being that he gave you that, he can't really be mad at you for freely doing what you will. Because he already know you're going to do it. So, with that being said, we date a number of different people in our life. But here's how you can tell who you'll eventually wind up with and why. Okay, so I'm very stubborn. I'm so used to being treated like crap, that I'm just gonna, used to stick with that because that's all I know. Like I've always known not all men are the same, and that there is someone out there for everyone. God has made someone out there for everyone. He did not create marriage to be one-sided. He created marriage and sex for his pleasure. We were created for his pleasure. Everything that we do is for him. So when everybody says, "Oh, where you're having sex and God knows," well, duh. But here's the thing: I've dated water signs, earth signs, air signs, fire signs. A lot of ultimately, when you look overall and you compare, my ultimate sign was fire. Well, I don't know fully why that is, but I'm an air sign. So when you blow on a fire, it gets bigger. When you put air on water, it makes waves, conflict, it's like a sinking ship. You know, when you put air to wind, you're just blowing the leaves away. You're not growing that earth sign. You're not, unfortunately, y'all. You know, even if you have, see, that's the thing that gets people. Just because you got something in common with somebody does not mean you date them. Okay, so air and earth, nope. Fire and earth, nope. What do you do when if you set a tree on fire? Is it gonna die or live? It's gonna live. I mean, die. You know, if you put water on a fire, it's gonna go out. So obviously, those are not made for each other. You know, or water and earth. If you water a tree, is it gonna grow or die? Okay, so there's air and fire and water and earth. That's how it goes. Most people do not know that. And even some that do know that still do whatever they want, like I did. Okay, so my ultimate suit was fire. Okay, so let's bring it down. I'm only gonna claim the ones that apply, obviously. So we have okay, my husband is a Sagittarius. Okay, in my neonatal chart, which is a birth chart of planet alignment, longitude, latitude, numbers, planetary placements of the day of your birth. So it's just a planetary birth certificate of the day you were born, what it looks like in space. Okay, so in my neonatal chart, it said that I would marry a man like my father. At first, I didn't catch that. I didn't know my husband was a Sagittarius until I started studying it, which was in 2002. So, well, getting more into other parts of it and studying it more, I decided I was going to get back into it or, progress it. And, okay, so that didn't work out at all. So I know what, and then my dad's a Sagittarius. Okay, but then I get with an Aries. I can't do Leo. Mm-mm. So the ultimate husband that I will end up having um, for the rest of my life is going to be a Sagittarius. Yeah. So here's the thing about it. Now I prayed for a certain kind of somebody, and I met that certain kind of somebody. Exactly. Verbatim. Okay, so when this union actually happens, I'm going to know how to handle it. So, in other words, even though I know it's going to happen, I just don't know exactly when. Though I know it's going to happen ahead of time, that's because I've been so traumatized and hurt. This way I can be prepared so that when that which what I want, which is what I'm ultimately going to do, but at some point we don't think we're good enough and we'll take less than what we deserve. So where I should have taken this person from the very get-go, this type of person from the get-go, I didn't. But because I didn't, I've had plenty of time to prepare. So at one point I thought, man, I can't do it. Now I know I can. Love, light, and peace, guys.